We are 9 minutes late. We were supposed to start at 1. We are very sorry. We're usually very punctual. We're on time. But like 1 o'clock is when I'm supposed to eat, and I'm diabetic. I cannot remain empty stomach because my insulin, my sugar levels will plummet. I'll go into hypothermic shock. So no, not
I shouldn't be laughing about
it. You can laugh about it. It's not called hypothermic. Anyway, let's get to the budget. So I have, I'm non-expert Abhinandan Sekhri, and we have another non-expert.
Yeah. Meghnad. Hi, hello everyone.
Although Meghnad is an expert on how the parliament works.
Yeah.
But these days, going by the panels, kisi ko bhi bitha do. Expert, but we are non-expert.
Yeah.
Although someone on Twitter pointed out I have an economics degree from Delhi University, so that makes me an expert. No, dude, it doesn't.
But you do. You have an economics degree.
I have an economics degree. I did it.
So he's more expert than me, clearly.
Yeah, exactly. And I've even got my specs to look like expert. Aapka kya khayal hai? Arthik sthiti kya hai?
So, yeah, exactly. So, the normal questions that all news channels will be asking now, pretty much now, is A, is it good or bad? Right. Yeah. Second is good economics bad politics, or good politics bad economics?
I'm so glad you brought this up, because this is a rant I had done about 8-10 years ago in a blog. I had written it. This, and over the years, thankfully, people have stopped using this terrible cliche. Except Vikram Chandra today on NTV started off with this bhadda cliche which people have trashed. Even I have. First, you tell me, why do you think it's such a problematic phrase?
So, here's the thing, right? In politics per se, people confuse politics with policy very often, right? What I feel is that when you are making policies on, of course, budget is a policy document.
Right.
Again, to remind the viewers, this was just a budget speech. The budget has not been passed yet, so nothing has happened literally.
The announcement.
Yeah, it wasn't announced.
Like State of the Union address.
Right.
Like, this is what my plan is.
Yeah. It's basically words coming out of his mouth and we are supposed to interpret them. So what I think is, this whole politics plus economics thing, why can't good economics and politics go together? Like, is it like, say, for example, the fact that they have increased MSP for farmers by 1.5%.
Right.
That's good economics and politics.
Sure.
Like, from one perspective, right?
I mean, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Exactly. And
before we carry, finish.
So here's the thing, like, policy and politics is often confused to be, like the same thing. It's not, right? Politics, I think, comes from policy, but what we are looking at right now is on news, etc. Politics is given more importance than the actual policy itself. Like the law or what it says and what it means and etc. And then you can derive whether makes good economic sense or not, right?
Right. Now, I mean, kind of like that, I think that phrase fundamentally fails to understand what is the point of politics. Politics is politics for its own sake. I mean, the dictionary definition of politics is the activities associated with the governance of a country,
right,
or other areas. Governance being key. So, is putting out universal healthcare, for example, good governance? Fuck yes, it's good governance. Is it good economics? In the context of governance, of course it is. Will it make some stock market crash? It might. But fuck that. So people confuse, this whole thing that just because something will cater to, and especially in a country like ours, we aren't like Norway. We are a country that has people starving to death. People are dying. We have the highest, maternity mortality deaths. And yet, the way they discuss, like right now I'm watching television. I have corporate captains talking. Can someone just give me the Indian Express, please? There's this huge newspaper, there was this huge half-page ad about who all will be appearing on CNBC. It's as if other than corporate India, no one is going to be impacted by only their voice is heard.
Right. Even today, for example, on NDTV I was watching it, they got Yogendra Yadav on the panel, and this Vikram Chandra started off by saying, oh, there is a farmer protest going on. And Yogendra said that, no, listen, we are not protesting, we are watching the budget together. We just got like a bunch of farmers here. We are not, I agree, we are not in Limeridian or, Lutyens, Delhi. We are somewhere in a village in Noida watching the budget. That is what we are doing. We are not protesting. They had like a 10-point, agenda. They were going to score the finance minister on the basis of that, right? So what he said is essentially that, it affects farmers, it affects industries, it affects everyone. So immediately after that, I won't name the person who said that because I forgot.
Not because we are coy.
Yeah.
We are not shy.
He said that some farmers वगैरह ठीक है, but industry is the driving force of the economy, right? So I mean, it's just a general outlook that sort of everyone has about the budget, which is kind of tragic, I feel.
Yeah, you know what else is tragic is that when the CEO of newslaundry asks for the Indian Express, he gets page 5 to page 18 and say, fuck you, we won't give you the rest. Because what I want is another of these pages. So thanks, guys. But so what are the, one big thing is the universal healthcare,
Yeah.
but they have a healthcare scheme that is going to cover 50 crore people.
Yeah.
Now that is huge.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? People have been talking about universal health insurance. It's universal health insurance, right? Finally, we are actually seeing like the first step towards probably universal healthcare. They said that 5 crore families, 10 crore families will be covered, which comes to 50 crore people. Right.
So that's 5 crore, 10 crore family and
so
5 people per family,
right?
Which is 50 crore people.
So it will be 5 lakh insurance per family per year. Right. So if any member in the family,
and the state will pay for this?
Yes. So it will be like an insurance scheme. Basically, that is what essentially it is. And it covers 50 crore people, which is crazy. Now, the thing is, how do they implement this though? Like, announcement karna is, I mean, okay. Right. First, we'll need to see the details of what kind of people are covered also. Who is covered, what is covered. But I know for a fact that the first thing they'll say, how will you implement it? The answer will be Aadhaar. it's like if you ask a government babu these days कि अरे ये हो नहीं रहा है solution क्या है आधार बस ये होने वाला है.
I see a lot of discussions about the benefit of reduced corporate rate of 25% from the 20%.
That's one more big announcement.
So the Sensex is back up, by the way.
It will keep going like crazy
up and
right
down.
now. Yeah.
But now here's my thing. At a very large level, it's like headlines. You have on budget day, you'll have headlines like Arun Jaitley has a tough task to choose between populism and fiscal prudence. Populism is, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? When you substitute a word with the other? Euphemism. Populism is a euphemism for something that will help the people who don't watch English channels.
Yeah.
So that is populism. And something that gives tax breaks to people who don't need tax breaks is fiscal prudence. Remember these things, okay? So next time you want to say that, dude, I'm an entitled dick and I want more money, say just be fiscally prudent and give me like more free shit. Now I was just, while driving into the colony, I was just thinking, the amount of cars that have occupied, because Delhi is exploding with the auto sector, have occupied roads. They're parked and people have parked like two like this, not just in single, yahan par ek Mercedes yahan, ek Audi yahan. That is, no one's paying for that because they drive. No one wants to park a car in their driveway because the driver has plants and pots and the child will play cricket there.
Yeah.
And they've occupied all the public spaces with cars, free of cost. Yet, if some poor family is to occupy one corner, there's hell to pay.
That's illegal.
How does it work?
So it's interesting, right? As you pointed out, like I think the most of the coverage that you'll see today or whatever from English channels or even Hindi channels will be targeted towards a certain tax-paying kind of
stock market
population, right? And so, for example, they have not changed the income tax rates this time. So I expect like a lot of people to be angry.
Okay.
Right. On top of it, the other thing they have done is they have reduced corporate tax for companies with turnover till 250 crore. from 30% to 25%, right? So
5% off.
Yeah, so they're saying it's mostly for the MSMEs, etc., right? So in your example of, say, someone, a car parking person in Delhi would be kind of pissed with this budget, because they can see that a lot of their taxes they have to pay out of their pockets.
Right.
A very important statistic that was given today was 8.27 crore taxpayers currently. There is an increase of 8.27 crore taxpayers, which is a 33% increase from last year, right?
But the reasons for that are not quite what is being touted.
I think mostly demonetization and all these, measures that they have taken.
But how many of those are zero tax? I mean, how many of them are filing zero tax?
So that is, again, those are the details we need to go into.
My hunch is most of them will be zero tax filings.
Yeah. And so the thing is, if they've not changed the tax rate, a lot of people are going to be pissed. Right? They're going to be saying, "Isme hamare liye kya hai?" On top of it, if you give something like universal healthcare or increasing the MSP, where the government has to pay out of its pocket, then this is where the money is coming from, which is basically again the car parking people in Delhi.
So taxing them, but because to take care of the poor of a country as big as India, you have to get the money from somewhere.
Absolutely.
And who are you going to tax? If you don't want to tax the richest, because that will prevent them from spending. Of course, this whole trickle-down economics has been debunked everywhere in the world, except in India. You see serious economists using trickle-down.
Yeah.
And REMs have been written. REMs कहते हैं, REMs कहते हैं, जो भी कहते हैं. And lots of digital space, and there are documentaries have been made and TV shows have been made about how trickle-down doesn't work with data.
Yep.
But in India, they will still say trickle-downers, because if you give the rich tax breaks, then they spend more and they jumpstart the economy. And in fact, there's one particular podcast, NPR Planet Money, where they take the data from California and I think Kansas. In one case, they tax the rich, in the other case, they cut taxes on the rich. And no trickle down to people. Where they tax the rich, they got the money to take care of shit. And in the other state, it had absolutely no impact except concentrate wealth even more.
Right.
Now, one more thing I want to point out, on India Today TV, again, they have a panel of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 people.
Men
in suits, because women kya jane paise ke bare mein. We are also men.
Men.
Women, get the tea. Coffee lao, sandwich banao. We will talk about economics and these things. That is, but
hashtag sarcasm, guys. Hashtag sarcasm.
Clarify कर दे भाई. अच्छा, यहाँ पर है कि India Today wins the race, beats Times Now. Sensex is in font size 12. Ajay Jaffar, Farmers is in font size 12. Expert Speak is in font size 14. India Today wins the race, beats Republic TV's font size 108. Just fucking have a, what the fuck? Like, just see that. But what are you winning? What is the race?
Prime time number 1.
Is it a race only for hounds? Or can like puppies also run along like newslaundry?
Republic TV, Times Now and CNN News 18.
What is this race? Gold standard of journalism.
Gold standard. I just don't get it.
Because I'm not listening to the expert, Professor Santosh Mehrotra, economist. I'm actually figuring out what race has been beaten.
And it's hashtag votenomics, okay? So basically the whole point of the discussion seems to be a lot of people are pissed that he's going after votes, or I don't understand what is going on. But yeah, the thing is, one more interesting thing, like talking about freebies.
Yes.
Do you like the word freebies? Like when you talk about subsidies or
if you are
government benefits as freebies?
I mean, if you're talking about wasps and honey and you're giving it for free, like then freebies, I would say. But otherwise, no, I don't know what that word means.
Freebies being, like benefits given to people who can't.
I think it's a very convenient way of tagging something that may be a right. So if you want to deny someone an entitlement or a right, you call it a freebie. You just kind of, it's a turn of phrase that can completely discredit a rightful entitlement, I think.
And the thing is, nobody, basically nothing is free, because even though people don't pay direct taxes, everybody pays indirect taxes. Sure. Everyone, like from the poorest of the poor to the richest of the rich, they all pay indirect taxes. So all of us are taxpayers, technically. And income tax is like, of course, the amount of income taxpayers has increased. And ideally, in a situation where a country has to develop, direct taxation should be more than indirect tax. But I mean, we are moving towards that, I guess.
Well, one good thing, CNBC has 3 women presenting. and 2 men. So, yay for that. But out of their panelists, there's one woman, that's Chanda Kochar and Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. There's Madhu Kela, Sameera Arora. Yeah, they're all suits. I just like to bracket these people as suits because they talk on behalf of suits. Because only corporate India is impacted by the budget, which is fair enough because CNBC is only being watched by stock market enthusiasts. But what are the other than that huge...
so talking about freebies, 8 crore women to get free gas connection. Connection, okay? So here's the thing, right? On one hand, they're giving free connections to people. On the other hand, they're removing subsidies from LPG. So people will start consuming more gas, but not get subsidy for it. So they're giving free connections, right? So
but
after
the
that,
gas
they have
itself,
to pay.
They have to pay.
After that,
so it's a way of getting them into the revenue stream.
Yeah. Which, I mean, compared to kerosene, I think it's a good idea.
Sure.
I mean, of course. And then the other is 4 crore people will get free electricity connections. Right.
Okay.
So that is one more thing they're doing. A lot of announcements about agriculture. Like the whole, I think for like 20 minutes straight, he was covered the whole agriculture section. I'm still waiting for the budget speech to be up. So once it's up, we can read it. But MSP has been increased by 1.5%, will be increased, by 1.5 times the production cost, which is obviously a good idea.
And there's a new cess as well.
Education cess, it's not new. So earlier it was 3%, now it's 4%. So basically, yes, it's now education and health cess. So
by the way, are there any questions we have?
We will have questions.
Okay, so someone just give me the questions. I don't know where to read the questions. So whenever the questions come, will someone just tell me where to read them? A couple of things here. They're saying winners and losers. So airports are winners, jewelers are winners, consumer companies are winners, transport companies are winners, healthcare providers are winners, and farmers are winners. Losers are bond investors, financial sector, defense sector, Sunil Shetty and Fardeen Khan. They are the losers. Just joking. We have not increased taxes on those guys. The one point that I wanted to make was that I was hoping someone would get that guy. I've forgotten who he is. I saw him in a conference. He had this infographic which showed that he had taken like the past 6 governments. In their first budget, what are the kind of policy initiatives that they do? And in the last budget before the election, what are the kind of policy initiatives they do?
Right.
And all the welfare initiatives are typically the last year.
Right.
And the first year are all the initiatives that will make the rich richer.
Right.
So, and it was so stark, no matter which government. And he had this infographic. I was hoping some channel would be able to afford that guy and get him.
Speaking of rich getting richer, since 2014, the top 1%, which used to cover 49% of the total wealth in the country, has gone up to 73%. So we are, after Russia, we have the most income inequality in the world now. So top 1% controls 73% of all wealth.
And that is measured by something called the Gini coefficient. See, I'm a little bit expert. Gini coefficient. Okay, the questions are coming. The Gini coefficient gives you the wealth inequality.
Questions. Should I read the question?
Please.
Yeah. Arunima Rajan from Facebook. Hi, Arunima. Says, is Modi Care the best part of today's budget? Modi Care. It's called Modi Care. I didn't even know that term was used.
No, I don't think it's called Modi Care. Maybe she's just saying it. But does she mean healthcare?
I think she
like
means
Obama Care. She's doing the Obama Care, Modi Care thing.
Oh wow!
So it is, yeah. So Obama Care was universal health insurance, and it's Modi Care. I think it is. I think it's a great thing if they can pull it off.
Yeah. I think the best part of the budget was more about the MSP rather than the insurance scheme. But of course, we can't really compare what is best.
Because exactly, because they cater to different, not just different financial needs of a sector. It also is a different device.
Right.
But speaking of
the other thing,
interesting data point, worldwide, the leading cause of households going into bankruptcy or being pushed below the poverty line is health.
Yeah.
And this is across the world in every country. It is health crises in families that either push you below the poverty line or lead to bankruptcies. So health insurance, I would think, is healthcare is the state's responsibility. You can get the private sector involved.
Absolutely.
But
And
they can't
absolutely. I
abdicate.
think that's one. They said that they're increasing allocation for education and health this time. I don't know how much yet, but I hope that is true, because till now we have been investing a very little amount on education and health both. Right, and but with education it would be nice if they invest more on primary education, because सब लोग
Sure.
higher education में पैसे देते रहते हैं.
And the point is that
universities banao, IITs banao, IIMs banao.
and having interviewed people from universities and my friends also who do a lot of hiring, 90% of the people who are graduating from universities are unemployable. You might as well not have gone to college. I mean, that's a fact. But the healthcare providers, the government's new flagship National Health Protection Scheme, which aims to ensure as much as 500 million people, could benefit companies such as Apollo Hospitals, India's largest hospital company, as well as Fortis Healthcare. We know Fortis needs all the help because the Singh brothers have just got a hammer from the High Court where their arbitration against Daiichi has been upheld. So that kind of puts a spanner in the works of their renegotiating their debt, and Religare and Fortis was supposed to merge, or whatever, they're supposed to swap shares.
Right. One more
What is your
question.
view on long-term? Someone asked me this on Twitter.
Long-term capital gains?
Yeah. Do you think long-term capital gains is okay? Not. It'll be very unpopular among the Twitterati.
First, I think you should explain long-term capital gains.
Long-term capital gains is basically if you invest in, let's say, mutual fund or any other market instruments or any other instruments over a long period. Like right now, if you exit a mutual fund within a year, they I think charge you a 2% penalty or something, or whatever they call it. But if you keep it longer, than depending on which mutual fund you're doing or whichever scheme you're in or what tax bracket you're in, because there's an HDFC tax saver fund which allows you up to £1 lakh tax-free investments there. Again, you have to keep it in for a year. But basically, if you keep it in over a long period, then it's not taxed. The premise being that you're investing in nation building and in creating wealth, and that money can be used to, for other enterprise and creating more jobs and creating more wealth. And if you exit, therefore you should pay a penalty. If you're in the long run, you don't pay a tax on it. But now they're saying the long-term capital gain that let's say I get into the stock market or into a mutual fund at 100 and goes up to 1,000 over 5-10 years, I'll be taxed on that what I gain. That's what a long-term capital gain.
So I know I cannot say, like, earlier there was a long-term capital gain, but they removed it. Now they've brought it back, right? So what I think is, I can figure out probably why they are doing this, because even the economic survey pointed this out. The chief economic advisor also said this, that the reason for the stock market boom that we are seeing right now is a lot of people investing in, say, mutual funds and basically long-term capitals, right? So I know that these people are now trying to sort of get money out of that, because like if there is no tax on it, then people are just investing more. At the same time, they're also doing that because the interest rates are down. Normal savings interest rates are down. Nobody wants to buy an asset. Like nobody wants to invest in property, or because of
property market is fucked.
And gold also is down. Like investment in gold is down. Smuggling has increased.
Interestingly, it's the first time in several decades that the property market in Bombay has actually gone down. Property is cheaper this year than it was last year.
Yeah. And
so is it a good thing, long-term capital? What is your view?
I think so. Here's how you can look at it, right? It's all about whether you want the government to have more tax or not. I mean, look, it's very simply put, right? So to fund all these ambitious schemes, you need the money. And if you announce it and don't, do it, then everybody will scream anyway. So they're just looking for ways to basically tax the upper 1%
and is
more.
This a legit?
I think it is. I think it's a good idea, but then again, taxing more is always a very unpopular sort of a thing to do. Like, and I think I can say that because I don't have any long-term capital gains.
I do. I invest in the market and by and large mutual funds.
So you're not happy?
I'm happy to pay taxes. I don't think I can whine about not paying taxes. I think my life is fairly decent, and if I need to pay more taxes, I should, because my cousin summed it up best. He's Canadian. Like all good Punjabis, half my family is Canadian. So they're Canadians and they live there. So if my uncle would say ki ਸਾਡੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਚ ਨਾ ਬੜਾ ਟੈਕਸ, ਹਰ ਚੀਜ਼ 'ਚ ਟੈਕਸ ਇਹ ਵੜ ਦਿੰਦੇ, ਇਹ ਟੈਕਸ ਦੋ, ਕਿਉਂ ਦਇਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਟੈਕਸ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸੜਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਹਾਲ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਹ ਬਿਜਲੀ ਦਾ ਹਾਲ ਦੇਖੋ, ਇਹ ਦੇਖੋ. ਤੇ my cousin said, and that's another thing about Punjabi generations, like the earlier generation speak like I just spoke, and the children don't know a word of Punjabi and they have an accent. Hey dad, that's not true. People in India just don't pay tax because they're too cheap to pay.
Oh yeah.
So they don't give a shit about I'm not getting this. They just don't want to pay tax. That's a fact. So the rich in India are not, हमें ये नहीं मिल रहा, वो नहीं मिल रहा, तुम्हें सब मिल रहा है कीड़ों, तुम्हें बस टैक्स देने में चुभती है, तुम्हारी बुंड में मतलब कुछ होता है. So that is the main thing.
No, and so like I think here we can also like turn it a little basic, where we can say that service delivery. So like in countries like you gave the example of Norway, right, where they tax like some 50-60% of the total income, but they also provide free college education, free healthcare, free all of that. Government is doing that. Implementation is awesome, like in those countries. So wahan pe people don't mind paying taxes
because there everything is taken care of. But the thing is, those countries are also so anal about letting you in. Like, I mean, for that matter, America, I was in the American embassy this morning for my visa. They give you a 10-year embassy. Matlab, when I went to Norway for a friend's wedding, who wants to stay where you're fucking minus 15 degrees? मैं दिल्ली की सर्दी नहीं मुझसे संभाली जाती, मैं वहाँ जाऊँगा. What day is the wedding? What day is the reception? बस उतने दिन का ही मिलेगा वीजा. मतलब they make you jump through hoops. तो उनकी population as much as the population of our colony, is the population of the country. If this colony had to be taken care of, 5 of the richest traders of Chowdi Bazaar can take care of this colony. It's not a big deal. So I mean, that's also why it's manageable. Also on Twitter, someone compared that country's privatization policy to India. They said, if they can do it, why can't we? I'm like, dude, what are you, an idiot? Like, have you seen the fucking population? Have you seen the pretty amount of people starving to death here?
Right.
But yeah, so the number of people has a lot to do with it. Also, sorry, one more interesting thing in this budget is biggest winners are transport companies. Why is that? Non-experts, please explain.
I haven't seen that.
It says road infrastructure spending on roads and railway construction as well as train wagon could benefit. So that means they have
every year they are increasing funding on infrastructure. I mean, I don't understand what's new in that, because they have been going crazy with infrastructure funding anyway since they came to power, like 2014. And even before that, the governments used to spend more on infrastructure.
And considering India's infrastructure is so fucked, like it will only go up. You can't say, oh, you know what, we've built too many roads here. Everything is connected. Let's stop here. Dude, you're fucking like miles from stopping.
Also, one more question here is, are there any SOPs for the middle class? There was this one
middle class, you're hoping you will get SOPs.
There's this one thing, which is they've allowed a deduction of, if I'm not wrong, 40,000 rupees for health. And for health, So new deduction. There are a bunch of more deductions for middle class who are senior citizens. So I think they have given like a lot of deductions for that. Like again, health and a lot of things. I'll just check.
They have some more. In any case, senior citizens can invest up to Mr. Modi speaking live. Hang on. Those of you still watching us when Modi is live, you're losers with a L. Modi live.
लेकिन फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस FPO जो आज इसमें
he's just going to explain the budget in Hindi, you know that, right?
Basically, he's just going to say these are the SOPs. This is fantastic political positioning. It's not fantastic politics, because that would mean governance, and this is not governance. This is event management. But Jaitley, to bol, like basically before U2 comes out, before Pink Floyd comes out, some local band performs. You know, the Delhi Delinquents, and presenting the Delhi Delinquents performing before our main act for the night. The Delhi Delinquents will come and perform, and then when they are done, then Pink Floyd comes. So that's Modi.
So you're calling Modi Pink Floyd?
Modi's Pink Floyd. So basically, Arun Jaitley was supposed to warm up the crowd, get them going, then Pink Floyd comes on, and now he'll say, "Dekho, maine kya kar diya, mujhe vote do."
So he gave half of his speech in Hindi, very bad Hindi. If you could see, like his, he was having trouble even speaking Hindi, but it seemed like one page was English and the other page was Hindi. The one page was Hindi and the other page was English. So he was doing that a lot. I think that's why his speech went on for about 2 hours this time. So yeah,
Wow.
so it's
You have
like
to have stamina, man.
he sat down in the middle. So, I mean, after he started, he's a little.
It says budget will bring new opportunities for rural India. Budget is development friendly. That's what Mr. Modi says.
They have okay.
2.5 lakh income was in any case not taxable. That was
So
that's not new.
no changes.
So
Basically.
why are they showing that? That's got no changes. We know all that. That was last year also.
Yeah. So there has been no change in the tax slab, guys. So sorry. I mean, why am I saying sorry to you?
Like 8,000 रुपए का कुछ change हुआ है, ठीक है.
One interesting thing they have done is, what do you think about the Mudra loan scheme? They have increased it to 3 lakh crore. Like this time they are going to give 3 lakh crore more loans under Mudra. Of course, it's for self-employment or whatever. What do you think? Like, will this work?
I don't know anything about Mudra loans.
So it's basically. It's basically loans for below poverty line plus like the poorer a lot, and
so for non-productive purposes, like
for self-employment basis, like to create businesses, etc.
Okay, I can tell you this. I mean, it's
Pakoda.
Pakoda style. I'm not. Again, I haven't really thought this through, but I'll tell you what a friend of mine who started a microfinance company. After that, SKS did very well now. By the way, what is SKS up to now? Is it still doing well or is it sunk?
I don't know.
But it was this big. Those of you who follow microfinance, SKS, what was the guy's name? Yeah, very controversial chap. Anyone remembers his name? SKS Finance. What was his name? SKS Microfinance.
Go on with the story.
Anyway, I'll go with the story.
Yeah.
Someone just put up, what's his name? Vikram Akula. So remember, he was this big dude, microfinance changing. So a friend of mine, retired investment banker, all of them had made a shitload of money between the late 90s to 2008. So he started a microfinance thing here, and he meant well. I mean, he had made enough money, so he wanted to do interesting things and stuff. So he in Meerut, Muzaffarnagar, Saharanpur, giving it to someone who wants to set up a workshop, so tire puncture.
Tiny establishments, yeah.
So the cost of due diligence is very high.
Of course.
For that. So, are they actually using the money for the purpose that they wanted? So the cost of actually monitoring whether that loan is being used for the purpose, like if newslaundry takes a loan, it's very easy to monitor us because we are connected through, kahan se paisa aa raha hai, we audited ye wo, but some guy running a cycle repair shop, you give him a loan. Here an investor can monitor us sitting wherever he is because we just keep sending him our statements. A cycle repair guy will not do that. So 1 lakh, 2 lakh ke aise, 100, 200, 400 loan de diye. Now he said it wasn't that their intention was to not return. Many of them wanted to return. But entrepreneurship, whether it is a pakoda stall, whether it is a cycle repair dukan, or whether it is a big company, is a very tough nut to crack. So the amount of failures made him shut down the company. It sunk.
Right. Oh.
So when you give loans to people at such to be entrepreneurs, and I've
So
seen we are a nation of entrepreneurs. We are a nation. You know how difficult it is to be an entrepreneur? The kind of headache. 95% of people just want a job. Give me my salary, fuck off, I don't care how you get me my salary.
Look at the irritation on his face.
Yeah, man, I know that.
Entrepreneur.
So, the point, it's very frustrating no matter what level it is. So I think a Mudra loan, people in India who in any case are marginalized, there is a sense of merit doesn't get you where you want to get to. Connections do. No one goes straight and narrow. If I'm setting up a stall, I have to bribe the cop. The amount of overheads, illegitimate overheads are huge. The chances of me wanting to be an entrepreneur are shitty, and the chances of me being a successful entrepreneur are fucking dismal. I don't have the confidence that education would give me. I don't have the confidence that clean governance would give me. I don't have the confidence that lack of corruption would give me. I don't have the confidence that society would give me. Like, if I thuddo his thela, rather than me have to pay him, I'll get off and beat him up. Why? Because I'm driving a big car. So, entrepreneurship for the poor is a fuck all idea. Whoever thought of it has no idea about either the poor or entrepreneurship.
Oh wow, that's a strong statement.
Yeah.
But
Non-experts speak.
Yeah, we can afford to do this.
Yeah.
So under the Mudra loan, they give 10 lakh rupees till 10 lakh rupees loan, right?
How many of feedback I'd like to know?
So that's what. So the figures I think would be interesting to look at.
They'll be dismal. I will bet money they'll be dismal.
So they've been doing a lot of playing around with the figures. I'll just find a piece and then share it later with this live. The other thing, so now that we are in the part of entrepreneurship, ease of doing business. So
it's so easy to business in India,
Jaitley said something very interesting today. He said, ease of doing business is a concept, is something we are working on, which will lead to ease of living. So I think there will be an ease of living ranking, race going on.
What's for lunch today? Khayali pulao. Raita brought to you by Kejriwal.
Ease of doing business. So there's this one interesting thing that the economic survey had said, and which I think the finance minister also mentioned today, is that a lot of projects are stuck in the judiciary. A lot of tax cases, etc., where the government is supposed to get like high value tax, is also stuck in the judicial process, and it's amounting to something close to 72,000 crore annually. Right?
Whoa.
It's like a crazy amount. And one recommendation that the economic survey gives कि इसको कम कैसे करना है, income tax को बोलो कि cases कम file करे. That is because they always lose. Their success rate is so bad that they should also stop filing so many cases on people.
But I mean, think just anecdotal. Over the last 2 months, I got 2 income tax notices at my place. My dad's a retired Fauji.
Anti-national.
So, and retired Fauji's pre-OROP, they didn't get much of a pension to really be in the tax bracket. He's over 80, so in any case, you're a senior citizen. Upar se pension, it was hardly 40 odd thousand. So you don't, it's not really taxable. So he's never filed a return in his life. So we got a notice that you have not filed returns and you have a FD or you went abroad, because my sister lives there. So I've just filed on his behalf. My sister, who doesn't live in India, she's settled overseas. A notice came, you haven't filed because she has an FD. Although she files there, so we'll be filing saying that, tax banta nahi. I think out of these 8 crore new people in the IT net, about 7.5 crore are people like this. Who are not taxable, but they have got notices. You haven't filed in this year, you haven't filed in that year. We notice you have traveled abroad, we notice you have an FD. TDS has been cut. So we are filing, but they're all zero return filing. So I mean, I suspect like overwhelming majority of these new crore cases are that. What are the other things of the
one thing that I think which is very interesting, what is happening now is that because of the GST, a lot of people are coming into the indirect tax net as well, right? So they've created this thing called GST network, right? So let me explain a little bit about the GST network. It's a private company, right, which has been founded by our good friend Mr. Nandan Nilekani.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so he's also Aadhaar and GST and whatever. So the whole object of the GST network is to collect data. So every invoice that you file is now going to the GST network for everything. So you have a GST number, you're filing a return, so your invoices are also tagged and they go to the GST network, right? What is happening is they're getting an intense amount of data right now, which has actually sort of pultofied all the earlier assumptions about how many people pay taxes, how many self-run businesses there are. So apparently because of the GST network, now they find that there are 3 times more self-run businesses in India than it was earlier assumed.
Wow.
Yeah, because they are now filing GST.
But how many of them are actually companies? Because everyone has companies that have done no work to set up a company.
The reason why this is happening is because I know this trickle down effect.
How do I see who all have asked questions? Because it's just showing me these many. It's not showing all the questions. They're just going up and I can't.
Right. So here are a few questions here.
Can't you just see them directly from this thing?
I think so.
Okay.
Anyway. So what I was saying, the GST network, what it has done is that a high-level company, a high-level company has to have GST so that it forces other companies down the line and individuals to also register so that they can get input benefit from it. Right?
I'd like to see
So-
how many of these new companies are actually functioning companies.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Shell companies. With
Well,
lot of-
if not Shell, they're just not functioning. They're just
Functioning.
companies that were set up and nothing ever happened to them. Because shutting down a company हो ही नहीं रहा ना कुछ. मतलब
आप इसको ओपन करिए.
अच्छा फिर.
Now you can see it here.
अच्छा now I can see. Fuck, I'm so tech unfriendly, man.
sad, Abhinandan, sad.
So here there's a question. Aditya Rakheja asked views on how government plans to stop cryptocurrency circulation.
Oh yeah, cryptocurrency. I have to talk about cryptocurrency, guys. So there was this one big announcement made in the budget that India no longer considers cryptocurrency as a legal tender.
It never did.
It never
But
did.
now it's
Exactly.
officially stated.
Yeah, they've officially stated. Earlier, RBI had given warnings to everyone: ki beware, don't deal with this, etc. Then the basically the income tax started sending notices to whoever they found was dealing with cryptocurrencies. Now the finance minister actually said they will do everything in their power to sort of stop it completely.
For those of you wondering what cryptocurrencies are, Bitcoin is the most well-known cryptocurrency which works on the blockchain system, which is an open ledger. I'm just throwing these terms around like I know, but actually even I can't quite understand how it works. But to understand exactly what they are, Shubham has made a video on newslaundry. You can check it out.
Right.
What's it called, Shubham?
Is Bitcoin a proven currency or a predictable flop?
Is Bitcoin a proven currency or a predictable flop? And that explains cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
So, okay, so to tell you briefly about cryptocurrencies, basically it is unregulated peer-to-peer currency, right? Which is basically no government, no central agency will A, decide the value of it. It will be purely based on demand and supply. And B, no government agency or central agency will have control over it, right? So it's like if I'm dealing with you and say you're paying me for my article, right? So here the bank acts as a trusted agency.
I think that was a snide one that you haven't paid me for my article. Suppose,
Yeah.
suppose you were paying me for my articles. Suppose I was. Are you guys subscribing? Where do I pay him from? पैसा दे रहे हो तुम? हैं? कैसे free में मजे लूट रहे हो? Subscribe to News Laundry. Help keep news free.
Yeah. So that I can buy better clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you pay me, so so the bank will act as a trusted agency which will authenticate that, right? कि तुमने पैसा दिया तो तुम्हारे बैंक अकाउंट से मेरे, so two banks are basically talking to each other, and we trust कि हमारे इसमें जो number दिख रहे हैं phone पे those are right. Now what happens with cryptocurrency is that there is no bank. It's just peer-to-peer, right?
Yeah.
What will happen is, let's say Shubham and 10 other people from here will validate this transaction,
Right.
so that it can't be.
So it's an
messed
open
with.
ledger. You say who's
Yeah.
given to who.
Yeah. So now the thing is, governments all across the world are extremely scared of this because they lose control over currency.
The central
Yeah.
bank becomes redundant.
Yeah. Banks become redundant. Central control over the currency becomes redundant. So they're extremely scared of this blockchain technology and which leads to like Bitcoin, etc. Because it's basically threatening their existence of a central agency or a government or whatever it is.
Yeah, but one thing that I never understood about the cryptocurrency, and I watched this documentary film on Netflix. It's called
I've heard
Betting on
betting
Bitcoin.
on Bitcoin. Yeah.
So betting on Bitcoin, it kind of tries to explain to you how Bitcoin works, what blockchain is, what an open ledger is. And then it tells you that because it's an open ledger and everybody can see where that currency has gone from, so you cannot lose it. I mean, it's very safe.
Yeah.
In the same documentary, there was this American guy who'd set up a company, a Bitcoin exchange in Tokyo in Japan. And what, 250 million...
It's stolen, right?
Gets stolen. I was like, you just told me that you can track it where it's going.
Right.
And now you're just telling me it's stolen. So how the fuck did it get stolen?
No, so that's the thing, right? So the transaction is authenticated. You and I are not authenticated. So it's like money, right? It's like currency. So if you stack like 2,000 rupee notes in your safe upstairs, some thief comes, cracks the safe and takes it away. It's equivalent to that.
But if it has a digital footprint, I can see where he's taken it.
No, so that's the interesting thing, because nobody can know which person sort of owns it. They will only authenticate the exchange of it, right? So exactly like what happens with money, where say if you were ambitious enough to track a serial number of a currency going places, etc.
So you don't know who.
You don't know who it. Now here the RBI guarantees its validity. In that case, 50 other people will guarantee its validity. Apart from that, there is nothing basically. So it's equivalent to digital gold, is what they say, right? It's exactly like that.
Okay, so let's go over some of the questions that we have.
Yeah.
So what happened to last year budget? Any review? No. So this budget has no meaning at all. Okay, that's not a question. You're just telling us, Ritesh, that this budget has no meaning at all. Just like the comments of these
Hey, the
non-experts.
budget has meaning. Budget has meaning.
It has a lot of meaning. You must watch the budget episode
Oh yeah.
of Constitution. Plug that, Meghnad.
Yeah, Smriti, please. Yeah,
Tweet it
share.
out. Tweet it out.
Yeah.
Right now on our Twitter, go on the link.
Guys,
That's
listen. If you want to watch one thing, I've done this episode in Constitution on budget. What we do is we explain how the budget works, right? So if you want to follow the budget and see what is inside, not just the speech. The speech is just an announcement. But if you actually want to see what is inside the budget and how it affects you or what allocation is done to what ministry, there is this website called indiabudget.nic.in. So when we did the episode, we actually told you every stage of how the budget is passed. So go and see that episode. Smriti is sharing it right now below. Right now, so watch it there.
Okay, so we have someone called Mihir Shah. I'm guessing there's not the economist Mihir Shah because there's an economist called Mihir Shah as well.
Amazing.
Who says tax at 80%. No, Mihir Shah, you're wrong. I don't know where you're getting this. So you're clearly not the economist Mihir Shah. Abhinav Sharma, how many Mudra loans are given last year? Do we
I
have
think
the data for that?
effective tax rate right now is somewhere around 28%.
28, not 80. You're off by like 52.
Yeah. But then there are like a ton of
80 minus 28, 52. I came up with like fucking 4 seconds.
There
That
are
shows
ton
I'm like
of-
kind of an expert. Like
Yeah.
I
You
can do
are-
arithmetic.
You are.
No, but Hari Haran
Definitely.
says. No, do we know how many Mudra loans were given last year? They don't have a number for
I
that.
don't. I'll give you the number.
They should announce that. By the end of it, we'll give the number. Can
Yeah.
someone just pull out that number, please?
Yeah.
Standard deduction. Just pull a number. Do we have a number on how many Mudra loans were given last year? Standard deduction of 40,000 for salaried employees in lieu of transfer and medical expenses. FM Jaitley, what is this transfer and medical expense? How does standard deduction help? Okay, this is how standard deduction helps. If your employer is paying your salary, it says 50,000 rupees, then there's a certain amount is taxed depending on your age. If you're senior citizen, then you'll have a larger limit. But the tax only kicks in after 2.5 lakhs, I think. So if your annual current salary is 10 lakhs and 2.5 lakhs is what is tax
Annual,
exempt,
yeah.
then you'll be taxed on 7.5 lakhs. And if whatever category you fall in, their entire percentage is going to be taxed. So suppose it comes in at 25% or 28% or 20% taxable, then that 7.5 lakh percent will be taxed at 25 or 28%. However, if your employer says, no, I will not give you 10 lakhs, I will give you 7 lakhs, and then instead of 3 lakhs, you will get reimbursement for any transport that you took, or when you fell ill, you give me medical expenses and I'll pay you for that. That is not taxed. Therefore, your taxable comes down to, let's say, 6 minus 2.5, that is 3.5. On 3.5, so your taxable income comes down. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Any allocation of money to curb pollution? I doubt it.
There is. Oh yeah, fun scheme announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In apparently in Punjab and Haryana, because there was a lot of stubble burning which was causing the pollution in Delhi. Now they are going to.
Oh, they're paying the guys to
Yeah.
not, huh?
So they're going to pay the farmers to not burn crops.
Yeah.
Basically a disincentive for them to burn crops. I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting scheme though. I mean, like, I don't know how it will work or how it will be implemented, because it's like, how do you find out? Like, ये इतना जलाता है इस साल कम किया है,
How do you
इसलिए
know?
cash
Yeah, I
दो.
can go and say,
Like,
मैं तो आज पूरे गांव को आग लगाने वाला था. आप पैसे दे दो, मैं नहीं लगाऊंगा. खत्म था. Yeah, even I don't know how it's going to work. Another question we have is Manju Hara asked, can you please explain the 1 lakh crore allocation to higher education? Manju, for any budget related intricacies, you're going to have to wait. Because this is just an announcement कि हम यहाँ इतना खर्चेंगे यहाँ. Of this 1 lakh crore, out of that, how many are going to be Gaumutra, research labs, and how many are going to be research labs, researching something like penicillin? We don't know. So wait for the detail to come out.
Yeah.
Right now, that is the amount that they have allocated. This is the mota picture. कौन सा कितने में जाता है वो अभी देखना होगा. Mihir Shah says, don't support Bernie Sanders. यार Bernie कहाँ से आ गया यार? He is proposing 57% tax on the rich. Yeah, I think the American rich should be taxed even more. They're fucking too rich.
Guys, one more thing. So someone just asked any idea about the budget allocation for sports. What I suggest is once the budget documents are out, there is this नीचे जाना वो list में वहाँ पे एक outcome budget होगा, right? You just look at that, because what it does is it tells you, rather than what they're going to spend next year, they'll tell you how much they have spent till date on each scheme on each like ministry, and the larger sort of promises that were made in the last budget, the budget before that. So it's just like it's like a 50-page document. You just Control F and start finding sports or Swachh Bharat or whatever.
And then that'll tell you
and
exactly
that will
how
tell
much.
you what has happened till now.
But you
right?
should do that, because a more informed and aware and interested citizenry by default will lead to better governance. So you really should do that. Sankar Narayanan Balakrishnan has a very good point. He says most of the Mudra loans are only in the 50k category. So not sure how entrepreneurship is rewarded or even kicked off from here. Very good point. 50,000 mein kya jand karoge aap?
Yeah, we'll look up the details of Mudra loans and we'll tell you. I mean, there are some parliamentary questions which I can check.
I don't know if Sankar Narayan is...
2.44 lakh crore last year.
What was that?
Was the total loans given.
Mudra loan. 2.44 lakh crore.
And this year they are going to give 3 lakh crore more.
Okay, that's not that much actually.
3 lakh crore, yeah, but 3 lakh crore divided by 10 lakhs would be what the amount of...
But he's saying the
loans
average
would
amount
be.
is 50k.
Average amount is 50k, yeah.
Sankar Narayanan Balakrishnan is he's I'll just check what he is, but if his data is correct, his average tax paid is only 76k per salaried person from 3.7 crore people samples. And he also says that 50k is the average Mudra loan. So if that's true, yeah, I agree that it can't really kick off anything of consequence.
What about Desi Obamacare? We've already spoken about it right in the beginning. Also, shouldn't we have wealth tax and inheritance tax?
Good point. I think we should. I think in a country like India especially, in fact, this is a huge point of contention even in much richer countries like UK and the US. It is the only way to get anything close to a level playing field without a wealth or inheritance tax. And for this, I will go to my economic degree. Anyone who can tell me you can use data from around the world, you can, and Mr. Piketty has done that in this very thick book, Capital, that how capitalism reduces inequity. You tell me how it does it and I will say yes, you're right, because it does not. If you come from privilege, your likelihood of adding even more wealth by the time you're dead are infinitely higher than someone who is born into nothing. So for a society to have any semblance of civilization, to be civilized, and to have a meritocracy which everybody keeps talking about, you cannot do it without an inheritance tax. So I am a full-time supporter of inheritance tax.
But then, something like capital gains tax, right, which is basically a wealth tax, I mean, sort of, which is your investments in certain things and you're making them pay for it. Well, whatever you call it, it is a tax.
Sure.
I mean, you might call it wealth tax or inheritance tax or even capital gains tax or whatever.
Sure.
Even if you call it a cess, I mean, it is a tax, right? So what I think is more than what you call the tax, it's more important how much it is. Like effective tax rate, like as a person, as an individual, how much do you pay every year to the government, right? And this is just direct tax I'm talking about. Indirect tax, effective rate, again, is somewhere around 28%, whatever it is. I'll look up the figure better. But again, how much are you paying your government and what is it doing with it? That is what the budget is about, right? So the government presents something called the finance bill, which actually tells you these things like capital gains tax itna hai, slab rates itna hai, whatever it is. That is where their statement of basically how much you will pay the government will come, right? What the budget is how they intend to spend that money out of the consolidated fund of India. Right. So it's like you are giving the money to the government is spending it, and the budget is a statement of intent of how it wants to do it, right? Now what happens is, an interesting thing not many people know, every winter there is an interim budget that is passed, right? So there is always a revised estimate, right? So now they can make all the announcements in the world.
It's a revised estimate that is more realistic, which is what is actually going to happen.
Absolutely, because for example, Manrega, right? They announced last year that they have given the highest ever allocation for Manrega, 48,000 odd crore, right? conveniently, obviously he won't say it, the finance minister did not tell you that the 48,000 crores which they have allocated would be spent on paying back wages, right? So 43,000 crore of that was just back wages, right? Which the states were asking for a while. So in effectively you have just given what, 5,000 crore to the scheme for the next year. So then in the revised list of revised budget, what happens is September se leke November tak, some 16 states stopped paying wages. They just stopped, right? And there were like some around 11 crore workers who just did not get paid मनरेगा के अंडर. So then revised list में उनको और पैसा देना पड़ा.
So then that
was the actual money that they had given, which was somewhere around like 20,000 crore odd rupees to do the immediate back payment of it. Again, this year we'll see how much they have given to मनरेगा. Again, उसमें back payment कितना होगा, and then it will be a cycle that continues for most schemes basically.
You were also following this thing on the major announcements in the budget, right? Where is that? Let's see. Do we have that? We have another. Any SOPs for the super rich? Well, that is by Rajesh Kumar. Rajesh Kumar, let me tell you what the SOP for the super rich is. As long as you don't have an RTI that can completely open out to the citizens who got what contract, how, at what terms. That is a SOP for the super rich, because how the super rich get super duper rich is because they get deals passed from governments, from the private sector that people like you and me can't. So the biggest SOP for the super rich is not to have a crackdown on corruption and transparency. So yeah, that's the SOP. They don't need any more.
One interesting thing, again, I don't know, it's not super rich exactly, but corporate tax has been reduced from 30% to 25% for companies till 250 crore turnover. Again, that is not super rich. They are still calling them MSMEs. So the SOPs for super rich are, as he said, they come in more in the form of laws, bankruptcy code, all that. Oh, yes, there is one thing that they have said. Recapitalization of banks, right?
Banks are basically, a lot of banks are up shit creek because they are fucked.
Yeah.
Because they've given loans that no one's paying back. Basically similar to Vijay Mallya, but they're much bigger fish.
So Vijay Mallya had some 8,000 crore, whatever.
There are people with 40,000 crore also that you'll never hear of.
Average, the top 20 companies, top 10 companies on an average owe 40,000 crore each. And top 50 companies on an average owe 20,000 crore each, right? So, and the total loan amount is somewhere close to now 8.5 lakh crore bad debts. So they are not paying back. There is, Ambani ji hai usme, Chota Ambani, 42,000 crore.
So what is the SOP?
So they have announced something called the recapitalization bonds, right? Like, so I think it's 2.11 lakh crore. Usme se there is a portion which are bonds which will be sold to people who they can buy it, which will be guaranteed by the government, and those will be used to pay the banks. That is the essential idea. But the fun thing here is, डिमोनेटाइजेशन के वक्त तुमने भी बहुत सारा पैसा डाला होगा, मैंने भी बहुत सारा पैसा डाला होगा, मतलब जो भी है, जितना छोटा फोटा पैसा था. So the whole country's 87% currency went into the banks, right? So that is our asset, right? They're doing two things with it. One is now that money is because it's a liability for the bank because they have to give it back when we ask for it. They can't use it to, say, repay the loans.
Sure.
What they're doing is using these recapitalization banks. The banks will then buy the bonds. And then the bonds will be the money will be then given back to the banks in the form of recapitalization.
So instead of saying here, they're saying here.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're doing. And the second thing which they'll do, and keep a watch for this budget session, is the FRDI bill, the bail-in clause, right, which created a lot of...
He's written a piece on that, you can read that.
Yeah.
Just tweet that out also.
The
Meghnad's piece on the FRDI
bail-in
bill.
thing, yeah. And also, what they're essentially doing now is, say, if a bank has a lot of loan given out, which is now collectively they have like 9 lakh crore or 8.5 lakh crore or whatever it is, it's a huge amount. What they'll do is, earlier when a bank collapses, the government was supposed to pay them, like taxpayer money, right? Now what they'll do is, they'll just say that, 100 लोग हैं, 100 लोगों ने 100 रुपए डाले हैं, उसमें से ना 30% हम ले लेंगे to save ourselves. Right, so like, and the rest, 30% of our money will be put in the form of an FD, or they will be issuing bonds in the name of it. So they'll say कि तुमको 5 साल बाद ये 30% मिल जाएगा, so that the banks don't collapse. So it's an insurance for the banks, it's an insurance for us. So I think it's a good thing. Overall, it's like simplifying a lot of things.
Yeah, but I mean that is an Armageddon scenario, because if it gets to that, I don't know how many policies will be able to save shit, because the kind of bank run that will just the domino effect of that, or the contagion in society, as soon as I see one unstable bank, if it's a government bank, the kind of ripple that will lead, I don't think any policy will be able to save any shit over
But here the interesting thing is that when as you said, a bank is in trouble, this resolution corporation, which is the one that is supposed to, they will declare it as critical. So there does not need to be an Armageddon situation. If they're just facing like a ton of losses. So before that. So it's a way to save them.
Okay.
Basically.
Now Sankar says, he says the backlog. So, you know what? Next time what we'll do is, here's the deal, guys. We'll put up a tweet. If you can decipher or decode any aspect of the budget, we will have non-experts collaborating with experts, and we'll crowdsource budget analysis, because people like Sankar, they have very interesting stuff to give, and obviously I'm assuming Sankar, your data is correct.
So what happened? Someone just asked what happened to the FRDI bill. So this budget session, guys, it's coming. It will be in the Lok Sabha. It's right now in the standing committee. The standing committee is supposed to give a report next week. So we'll keep a watch on that, and we'll tell you about it. It's not passed yet. There might be changes in it. The government has said that they will make changes in it. Let's see what happens. So, but keep an eye out for this budget session. So, they will have the FRDI bill.
Yeah. So it's not passed yet.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not passed yet.
Okay. How about views merging 4 state-run insurance companies under one umbrella? I mean, I think that's fine. Stuff like that. Insurance companies should be too big to fail. Because if they're not too big to fail, then...
What's the point of an insurance company? LIC, for example, if it crashes, that will be crazy.
So I mean, this whole too big to fail has become like a bad word, for good reason, because of what happened in Lehman. But insurance companies have to be too big to fail. Because if they are not too big to fail, then the problem is bigger than if they are too big to fail.
Right. So, one question. So Riti, hi Riti, has asked, can you break down the measures taken for education within this budget? So far, what do you think its repercussions will be? I haven't really looked at the details of the budget yet, because it's not up still. But what I'll do is, again, like as you said, like let's crowdsource questions like these and do one more live, say a few days later, and then we'll answer a bunch of your questions and then break it like sector wise.
Exactly.
And
what we'll do is we'll crowdsource that. We'll put the questions out. We'll try to get the answers. Keep your questions coming on the Facebook Live.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
And we'll put out when this decoding the budget will be. Because actually decoding it real time is very hard. Let's face it. Even
these
the experts,
people are doing it.
Well, they are also faking like us. वो भी पेल रहे हैं, हम भी पेल रहे हैं. Because आप मतलब इतनी जल्दी आप उन्होंने डिटेल्स नहीं बताया, आप क्या डिटेल बताओ?
फर्क ये है कि हम बता रहे हैं आपको कि हमको पता नहीं है. वहाँ पे it's good economics, bad politics.
Hybrid instruments. I wish they would make hybrid cars cheaper. Yeah. Oh, I saw in the State of Union address of Donald Trump, we are ending the war on sweet clean coal.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah.
Sweet clean coal.
He said that.
Sweet clean
and
coal.
People gave a standing ovation.
Hybrids they have taxed more actually.
Really?
Yeah. So even in the last budget they increased taxes for hybrid. I'll look at it once this year, but as far as I've read, they have increased it. Mobile phones ka custom duty बढ़ा दिया. So Chinese phones will be more expensive. TVs ka custom duty बढ़ा दिया by 5% each. So TVs and mobiles that I know will be expensive. Basically all these MI phones and whatever are imported to India and then they are flooding the market. Those will become expensive. I think it's a big push for Make in India. But the problem with Make in India is that बैंक लोन नहीं दे रही है क्योंकि ये लोग फंसे हुए वहाँ पे लोन लेके रिपे नहीं कर रहे. So Make in India is just just standing down right now. It's not happening since a while.
Meanwhile, Rajasthan bypoll 3 for Congress in Rajasthan, 7 months ahead of state polls. Not good news for the BJP.
Oh yeah, that happened today.
This is big. Now see, had the budget not been on, this should have been
prime time news.
Now budget के बहाने आपको एक और हम न्यूज का एक थोड़ा नगेट दे दें. News is only as important or unimportant as what else is happening that day. मतलब अगर उस दिन तैमूर की शादी हो रही है, मतलब सैफ और करीना का बेटा तैमूर, जब वो 18 साल का होगा, 20 का, जब शादी करेगा, उस दिन अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल कुछ और हुआ तो वो शायद इतना इट विल नॉट गेट सो मच दिस थिंग एयर टाइम. So this Rajasthan bypoll result that has happened today on budget day ordinarily would be a headline everywhere, and ये भागो बाढ़ आ गई, ये तो कांग्रेस तीनों के 3 जीत गई. लेकिन आज हाँ ठीक है, चुप करो, अभी जीएसटी डिस्कस कर रहे हैं हम. वैसे न्यूज इज लाइक दैट. इट्स बैटल फॉर द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट.
या अभी हो गया. गुड. ओके. या दैट मेक्स सेंस.
I always make sense.
You always
I'm a
make
non-expert,
sense.
baby.
Of course, always makes
Non-experts always make sense. Experts, kunjam, sometimes.
Yeah. Let's take a few more questions and then we can.
Then we can wind up because my
Wind
head
up.
is aching.
Virendra.
Dude, I can't. My head is actually aching.
Oh, sorry. It's like he's old now. What to do? Something regarding R&D in science. I'll have to look it up. Guys, again, we haven't looked at the details. Yeah, we'll look at it and then we'll let you know. Keep your questions coming, please. That's a good idea.
The FM said that the MSP of 1.5x cost of production farming of rabi crops is accomplished, which doesn't stand fact check. He says that actually 66% is what the agricultural entrepreneur pays. And well, this is a fact check we'll also do, but Sankar, if your fact check is right, well,
we'll look at it.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Nirbhaya got so much mileage. I don't know.
He's
why.
talking about the
Like,
news.
Yeah, the news. Okay. Drink more water. They're advising you to drink more water.
That's
Hydration.
getting
Yeah. ले लो पानी. I haven't.
फिर
touched
मुझे
this.
ब्रेक के लिए जाना पड़ेगा. Anyway.
Non-experts listening to people. Tax on petrol and diesel is too much. Any info on that? So the thing with they have done with petrol and diesel pricing is that now it's like dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
Earlier 15 दिन में increase होता था या फिर they had to announce it. Now it's like according to world price rates that it's going up or down. The thing is there is a petrol cost and there is an excise tax that is on top of it, and थोड़ा सा वो margin जो dealer charge करता है, and that is what we pay for taxes. So the large percentage of it is excise, right? So what the government does to stabilize the is that when the cost component increases, they reduce the excise, right? So that they can keep it stable to around like 80. Right now it's like 81 if I'm not wrong. How much is it, right? 70, 71, 72 petrol.
Yeah. Petrol कितना है? 80 है?
79. It touched 80 like a few days ago.
Delhi में.
Yeah, and it's
There must be 80 in Maharashtra.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like when you're a government, like if we think of it this way, they will set a price. This is how much people will pay on petrol. That's it, right? So global prices increase decrease होता है, excise increase decrease होता है, but that level is थोड़ा बड़ा.
I always used to wonder why when Brent crude goes from let's say 60 to 40, why doesn't
our prices? Because the cushion is excise.
So then so then it's not fucking linked to world prices. Fuck off then.
It is.
It's just a con. Everybody making a chuti of us.
That's exactly it. It's not technically
Nonsense. I used to think, world price, Brent crude is down, but we are not down.
Yeah. So
the fluctuations are compensated to by fluctuations in excise. Fluctuations से एक joke याद आया. तो वही सुना देते हैं. तो this Japanese once goes to this counter in America to change some dollars to yen.
Yeah.
So he gives him $10 and he gets whatever 200 yen in return. So next he goes and gives $10, he only gets 180 yen in return. So if I'm only getting 180 yen, yes, I got 200 yens. So the American cashier says, fluctuations. He says, fuck you Americans also. That's a joke. Those of you who understand, foreign exchange and the fluctuation in foreign markets will get it. It's one of those intellectual jokes that only economists get.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, oh, love you guys. We are better than NDTV, CNN, India Today. Guys, but Republic TV is leading. India Today is leading.
They won the race, not leading. It said, we win the race.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude. So in my head, I was picturing Rahul Kanwal like Usain Bolt and Gordon, what was his name? Gay? Jordan Gay, that other sprinter. As Arnab, like, what race did you win anyway?
TRP ka race.
So, should we wind up? I got a headache.
We'll wind up.
So much of staring at screens and then looking up and readjusting and then readjusting here. It's just too much for me. Oh my God, the numbers have killed me. This budget, I have to go over all the numbers again. But thank you for joining us. If we were of any value and you have learned anything more than you knew before you started watching it, we promise you didn't try. I don't know how the fuck you managed that, but you are probably genius. You're a prodigy. So, you have any closing comments to make?
So just the thing that, again, I'll remind the audience, indiabudget.nic.in, वहाँ पे जाओ, once the budget papers are up, watch the constitution episode so that you know how to go through the budget and do your own analysis, because honestly speaking, all the analysis you will read on the news anywhere else will be biased one way or the other.
Yeah.
It will be crap, basically. So, you do your own analysis, you do your own thing, you see how much was allocated last year, this year. It's very simple. वहाँ पे सब 3-4 साल का दिया होता है. You just calculate a percentage, make an Excel sheet, data geeks. I'm looking at you. And if you make Excel sheets with interesting findings, I think they should share it with us.
Send it to us, contact@newslaundry.com, budget.
Yeah.
Send to contact@newslaundry.com. We'll share whatever you send us.
Yeah.
We'll do a due diligence on it. And when we announce the budget decoding,
right,
we'll include those. And if you are an enthusiast, you don't have to be an expert, but please use common sense. Don't so Norway ये करता है तो India को ये करनी होगी. मतलब compare a country the size of this to the country size of this. Don't be idiotic. Try.
So, so I think crowdsourced analysis would be fun. Crowdsourced budget analysis, guys, that would be fun.
And hashtag, please stop saying good economics versus good politics. It's a shitty, meaningless cliche. Just shut the fuck up with that, please.
True story.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. That was fun.
And subscribe to News Laundry, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers is served. और अब सब कुछ महंगा हो गया है. पैसे दे दो यार, हमें ये जगह चलानी है.
मेरे को पैसे देगा ये
फिर. आर्टिकल के लिए पैसे देने बेचारे मुफ्त में कब से काम कराएंगे. ओके, बाय बाय.
बाय.
सैरेडॉन देना है.